How is everyone tonight? Glad to be here in Scott County. My name is Adam Light. I'm from Richlands, Virginia. And I hope to be your nominee for the 9th District Congressional race against Mr. Boucher. I like to hearken back and think about Patrick Henry. And when he was asked why he was not attending the convention to propose amendments to the Articles of Confederation, Patrick Henry simply replied, "I smell a rat." And he was right. Instead of amending the Articles of Confederation, the convention ended up introducing a whole new document that we call our Constitution. Men like Henry thought that Constitution went too far. They argued against its ratification, and when the ratification seemed inevitable, they argued that there must be a Bill of Rights placed in this Constitution. Men like George Mason argued that a Bill of Rights was necessary, and while he definitely trusted the current crop of Federalists, he felt like it's those that would come in the future that may take things too far. Now, one of those safeguards in that Bill of Rights is the 10th Amendment. 10th Amendment rights in restricting the federal government to only those powers specifically enumerated in the Constitution is, in my opinion, the most important job that a congressman can do. Now, there are some other things that I would like to talk to you guys about tonight other than just 10th Amendment rights. And one of those things is that I believe we should reduce both taxes and spending. Tax burdens on American citizens are too high. This burden is stifling growth and productivity. And while I believe that cutting taxes is important, I believe that we have to cut spending as well. To cut one without the other is just irresponsible. We're approaching $13 trillion in debt. $13 trillion. And this is unsustainable. I believe that we should stop the bailouts and corporate welfare. Federal bailouts of private business are quite simply immoral. To reward failure out of the pocket of success is contrary to all the principles that our country was founded upon. I believe that we need to promote energy freedom. Federal bureaucracies such as the EPA currently hold up dozens of permits in our area alone. These permits are vital to jobs in our area, but they're also important with regard to the energy that this country so desperately needs. I will not surrender to environmental extremism, and I will in fact fight all attacks on our coal and natural gas industries. I believe that we need to get the government out of our health care. And if you guys will recall, when was the last time you heard about politicians going to fix the health care system? It was actually back in 1973, and it was called the HMO Act. Remember HMOs? Everybody here is familiar with that term. Well, now the politicians are railing against HMOs. Yet they were the ones that created HMOs to begin with. I don't think we need more government in our health care. I think we need less. And finally, I believe we need to enact term limits. I think this is one of the most important things that we can do to restore our republic. Career politicians have too much power and influence. They're more concerned with re-election than making tough decisions that will need to be made to right this ship. I'll use the influence of my office to work on an amendment to the Constitution restricting representatives to 4 terms and senators to 2. I'll also promise to serve no more than 4 terms myself. 8 years was good enough for George Washington. It certainly is good enough for Adam Light. And finally, I would like to make one promise to you all here tonight. I will never, ever violate the Constitution. It will be the first thing that I consider when reviewing a bill. And if I can't find the constitutional roots of a particular piece of legislation, my vote will be no every time. I'd like to read one more quote to you from Patrick Henry. He said, "Guard with jealous attention the public liberty. Suspect everyone who approaches that jewel. Unfortunately, nothing will preserve it but downright force. Whenever you give up that force, you are inevitably ruined." We failed to follow the counsels of Mr. Henry. We as citizens have been complacent and have allowed lifetime politicians to run amok. They've trampled our Constitution, bartered with our liberty, and bankrupted our Treasury. But I do have high hopes for our union. I believe, like President Reagan, that we can once again be that shining city on the hill. The silent majority has woken from their long slumber. We must now choose leaders that will put principle ahead of everything else and will not compromise when everything is on the line. So now I ask you, let's join together and reclaim our republic. Let's rise up as a sovereign people and in one voice tell Washington, D.C., you do not dictate to us, and we are not your subjects. Let us do as Jefferson instructed and bind them up from mischief with the chains of the Constitution. Let's let freedom ring over America once again. Thank you.